Hello, welcome. I'm here with Asia Dér and Sári Haragonics, a director from Her Mothers, which is in our competition Grand Reportage. Asia, Sári, thank you so much for being here and welcome. First, I will just shortly introduce you to our audience. So, Asia, you graduated as a documentary director from the Doc Nomads MA program. You're currently doing your doctoral studies about how the relation of the director and the main characters affects the dramaturgy and the psyche in longitudinal documentaries. And you're also a presidium member of the Hungarian Documentary Association. You can always correct me or add anything if I...
No, you're totally correct.
And Sári, you graduated from the University Theatre and Film Arts in Budapest with an MA in documentary filmmaking. You're also an honor graduate in media production at the University of Bedfordshire in the UK. And you recently started your doctoral studies researching how participatory video can affect our social relations, focusing on underprivileged children and youngsters. And you both are now working on your next documentary feature. Thank you. So now we will discuss your film, Her Mothers, which follow Virág, an ecologist politician who withdrew from public life, and her musician partner Nóra. In an Hungarian political climate that grows ever more radical, we follow the two women through their long and ultimately successful adoption process to bring home their young daughter of Roma origin. It is an incredibly moving a film incredibly moving in its empathy and its humanity, and it's also a great tale of love and freedom that we're very happy to show here at the festival. So again, thank you very much for being here with us. My first question is about, I want to know a bit more about how the project started, in a sense, what drew you to this story or what inspired you to make this film.
Should I start? Asia? Okay. So we were actually doing a project together with Asia in Norway. And there we met a Hungarian gay couple who were there with their adopted son. And then they told us about their whole adoption process and why at the end they ended up moving abroad. So on the way back, we were talking about that a lot, that how a family with two fathers or two mothers could work and what's the whole process of adoption. And then basically we met with Virág and Nóra through a friend, and we just found out that they are also in the middle of their adoption process. They were back then waiting for a year and a half already. And we approached them that we would really like to make a film about this and follow their life and how their process evolves. Maybe Asia can add why we actually were convinced that we would like to make a film about them.
Yeah, I remember when we met them for the first time in a cafe, then they told us that they are writing a fairy tale, a kind of a little story for their future child. And we were both really fall in love with this idea that there is this story within the film, so story within the story being written, and maybe we can follow it through the whole project and the whole adoption, and it will be like a nice line also for us. And we also like the idea itself. But then at the end, the film itself became this story for the future child. So the story they wrote is just a little bit, a tiny detail at the beginning.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sure she'll be very happy to watch the movie if she hasn't yet. My second question is, even though we see in the film the environment and the political context, for example, through the homophobic or xenophobic statements of government officials that actually punctuate the narrative at the radio, and we can show the oppressive atmosphere they're living in the end, it's more, as you said, it's more of an intimate account of how Virág and Nóra are adapting to their situation and how they apprehend their identities as new parents. Was this your intention was when you started filming, or in terms of, would you describe yourself this film as an activist film, or was it clear at the beginning that it would be this portrait?
Maybe I start answering. That at the beginning, we had a little bit of activistic motivation when we got to know that there is lots of people in Hungary who don't have the same rights to get a family, like, for example, us. But then, of course, when we got to know them, we were focusing on their very private life and the everyday little happenings. And we, as documentary directors, we usually don't have activistic motivation, but a very personal one. And this was the case here with Virág and Nóra as well. And Sári, you can totally continue if you feel like.
Yeah, so I think at the very beginning, even they had a little bit of an activist point that they wanted to show to other rainbow families that it's possible to have a family, to adopt and to become a family this way. But I think really quickly it was much important to all of us that it's a family film, and we were struggling with that a lot, actually, with all the international pitching forums and workshops, that for an international audience it was really important to show the political context, and we didn't want that to take away the attention from the fact that it's a story of how the three of them become a family.
And there's one really important thing, that although the propaganda and the way how government spreads the propaganda way, it's very homophobic, but the people in Hungary, they are not. So it's very important for us that we never want to portray Hungary as a homophobic country, because it's not true. People are ready to open their heart for any kind of families, but on the surface there is this really hatred government's way of speaking and way of spreading their reforms and decisions. So that's why we were also struggling with this, not to give to show the context, but also not to give a false idea about Hungarian people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you managed this in a very successful way in this film, actually. And there's also, as you said, it is also like a portrait of this new family. And there's a really important sense of intimacy and closeness. It's a very intimate tale. And also we can see that Virág and Nóra, they're very open in front of the camera. It's almost as if the camera disappears. So how did you build such intimacy and closeness with them? And what was their involvement in the filmmaking process?
I think that we achieved that by basically we became friends with them. So, we spent a day or two there filming, but a lot of time we stayed overnight. And then in the evening, we had a glass of wine, all of us together, and had really nice conversations, not only about them, but also about us and about our private life. And so they knew everything about us. And I think this mutual honesty really helped them to build a trust. And that's why they could be so open and so honest in the film.
I don't know if it's obvious for everyone, but we were the crew. So Sári did the sound, I did the camera. So it was all the time just the two of us around them. So this also helped us a lot.
Yes, to have a very small crew. And you said that you became friends. And are you like, because the film stops when they arrive in Vienna, so are you still in contact with them? They've seen the movie. How did they react to seeing the final product?
Yeah, we are still friends. We do lots of Zooming and Skyping. And because you already mentioned about the little girl watching the film, actually that happened.
Oh.
And now they kind of developed the custom that a child who is adopted, they have two birthdays. The one when they actually were born and the second day when they came home to their new family. And the second birthday, they watched the film all together. So it was twice. And we really hope that they will develop this kind of a custom. So every year, the little girl will understand more and more about her own past and the way how she was weighted. And we really like this idea. I think it's so touching.
It is. And and also but she's quite small still, no? Right now.
No, well, now she's already, she was 7
Okay.
years old in
First
January,
grade.
and she's in first grade in school, studying in German, everything. Right now, she's homeschooling, so Nóra is studying with her every day. But yeah, so what's really nice about this that she watched the film is that because she watched the film, started to talk about her past and about her foster parent, where she used to be before she got adopted. So it really helped her to talk about this whole issue and to open up about it. And even now, like I think Skyped with them a week ago, and she was again saying something about the film that, but why was I crying when you took me home? And she still has that little cat toy, or and she was showing it now, and it's in the film. So it's a lot of memories that we can also share with them.
It's nice, but it is a very personal movie on many levels for everyone involved and also for the people watching it. And in talking more about the film, because it's a long process of filmmaking, what were like the biggest challenge when you made the film, as it was mostly the two of you, as you said?
I think one of the biggest challenges was lack of funding, because for the almost 3 years of shooting, we had absolutely no money. That's why it was the two of us filming. But then, as we mentioned, it actually turned out very positive because we could build a very intimate atmosphere. And for me personally, another challenge was that Virág and Nóra asked us not to film anything which is connected to bureaucracy or the child protection services, because they were really afraid that if they will see that there is a camera, then they won't be helpful. Because actually, like they could adopt as a single parent, because gay couples cannot adopt in Hungary. So you go with this little lie, but normally everyone tells the truth that they are actually a gay couple, but they are just adopting as a single parent. And the co-workers, they are very, very open to them. They are only watching like what's the best for the child. And if they see that it's a loving family and it's going to be good for the child to become of their family, then they don't care. But they were afraid that if a camera is there, then they won't do this, kind gesture, because it's illegal.
Yeah.
So for me, it was difficult to solve it in another way. But I think also we kind of turned it into a positive side, because then we were focusing on their intimate home moments instead of the process itself.
Yeah, it's true, because the process is really in the beginning, and then it's more on how they find all of them find their place in this new family of theirs. And also, I have one last question, and then anything you would like to add, of course. What kind of impact do you want your film to have? In sense, what feeling would you like to convey the audience when they watch and finish this film?
Well, first of all, we are really, really dying to hear from our audience how like what effect the film had on them, because since the world premiere, which was last May at Hot Dogs, we had only online screening, and and it's really difficult that we worked for 5 years on this film. This is our first feature-length movie, and that we cannot really meet the audience. It's difficult. So first of all, I'm just really, really curious how people react to it. And we are like we will have the Hungarian premiere on the 6th of March, and then on the HBO premiere on the 11th of March. So we are now very much preparing for a kind of impact campaign, that what kind of audiences we would like the film to reach. And I think one big goal is not to stay in this bubble like with very accepting liberal or an LGBTQ people, but to go out to a bit more conservative audience for whom it's not obvious that this kind of family model can work, and for whom it can have maybe a greater effect. And maybe, Asta, you want to add, or should I add more?
You can totally add more if you want.
No, I just wanted to add that it's really nice because at this Hungarian festival, the film has an ambassador, and our ambassador is a gay couple who also adopted a little boy, and they are really eager to bring this film to the audience and to a really wide range of audience. And they are also doing this campaign called "A Family is a Family," and so I don't know. For me, it's really comforting to know that we have them as the ambassadors of the film, and that to make sure that it's really going out to the people.
Yeah, I think that our main goal was to do something in Hungarian society, because we really see that people would be open for new kind of families. They just don't get the chance to meet them from the media and from all kind of from the radio and news and all the media. Only the hatred campaign are coming. So I think in Hungary, people really need a different kind of voice, different kind of films, different kind of characters to see that they are just the same family as they are. And I don't know, I really hope that this film can make a little change in at least some people's heart.
Well, I really hope so too, but I'm sure. And we'll give you any feedbacks we have here at the festival as well. Personally, I thought it was a very, very honest and very moving film. And you did this with such delicacy and intimacy to portray this family, which is as any other family with their highs and their lows. So I'm pretty sure that our audience will love it as well. And thank you a lot. If there's first, is there anything you would like to add or say, or I don't know?
I just wanted to add to Sári is that we are really, really super happy if anyone would reach to us with their feedback on Facebook or wherever you want. We just really like to hear any kind of real people's feedback.
Yes, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the film and this Q&A with the directors, and you can discover all our other movies on our website.